Jacques Guillaume, Bayou Shadows. Montreal, Quebec, early spring 2006. Jacques Guillaume sat in his small office above the boulangerie in Little Burgundy, the rain streaking the window like tears. The case had come in quietly, a whispered request from a desperate mother whose daughter had vanished after a school trip to Florida. The girl was 15, smart, careful, not the type to run. 3 more names followed in the next 2 weeks, all Quebec kids, all last seen in the southern United States, all vanishing near the Gulf Coast. Jacques poured black coffee and stared at the map on his wall. Montreal to Florida, then the Mississippi Delta, the Bayou. He made the call he didn't want to make. The mob man who didn't deal in people. Tony, the quiet Rixai, was old-school Montreal. Gray at the temples, soft-spoken, and still respected enough that the younger crews left him alone. He ran a legitimate trucking company these days, but everyone knew the Rizzuto era had left its marks. Tony had a reputation for one hard rule: no women, no kids, no human trafficking. Break that rule and even the family would look the other way while justice was delivered. Jacques met him in a quiet booth at a café on St. Laurent. "You want something, Guillaume?" Tony asked, stirring his espresso. Jacques slid the photographs across the table. 4 faces, 4 missing kids. Tony's face hardened. "I don't deal in that, never have, never will. The old men in New York used to say the same thing, some lines you don't cross. These days," he shook his head, "the new blood is different, greedy, no respect." "I need names," Jacques said. "Who moves people through the South, who uses the Bayou?" Tony studied him for a long moment. "You're asking me to open doors that stay closed for a reason, but kids," he tapped one of the photos. "I'll make some calls, quietly. You don't mention my name, ever." The road south. April to May. Jacques flew to Miami first, then drove the long coastal highway into Louisiana. The heat hit him like a wet blanket. New Orleans was still recovering from Katrina, broken levees, empty houses, and a city that felt half alive. He worked the edges: bar owners, river pilots, old fishermen who still remembered the days when the bayou swallowed secrets whole. Strange folks, as the locals called them, Cajun families who lived deep in the cypress swamps, suspicious of outsiders, loyal to their own codes. One old man named Baptiste, who lived in a weathered cabin on stilts, told him over strong chicory coffee, "People come through here looking for ghosts. Sometimes they find them. Sometimes they become them." Jacques found the first real lead in a rundown motel outside Huma. A girl matching one of the descriptions had been seen with a man driving a white van with Florida plates. The trail pointed toward a network that moved children under the cover of orphanage work and refugee placement, a front that used the chaos after the hurricane to hide darker business. Working both sides. Tony Rixai's information proved useful. In New York, Jacques met an old associate of Tony's, a retired captain who still had contacts in the residual Bonanno and Genovese circles. The man confirmed what Tony had hinted. Certain freelancers were using the Gulf ports and the Mississippi River system to move people. The traditional mob wanted nothing to do with it. "Bad for business," the old captain said. "Bad for the soul." Jacques traveled between Montreal, Florida, and Louisiana over the next 2 months. Each trip revealed more of the network. A corrupt port official in New Orleans. A charity in Tampa that never seemed to place any children. A series of abandoned cabins deep in the bayou where kids were held before being moved farther inland or onto boats heading out into the Gulf. The work was slow, dangerous. More than once Jacques felt eyes on him in the dark. The strange, quiet people of the swamp who watched strangers with suspicion and sometimes helped in unexpected ways. The turning point. In late June, Tony Rixai called him at 3 in the morning. "I have a name," Tony said. "A man out of Miami, calls himself Ruiz. He's the one who arranges the southern route. There's a meeting in 2 weeks at a fishing camp near the mouth of the river. You didn't hear it from me." Jacques flew back south. The fishing camp was isolated, cypress trees, black water, and the constant drone of insects. Jacques went in alone, with only a sidearm and a satellite phone. What he found confirmed every nightmare. Children, cages, men who spoke of them like cargo. Jacques didn't call the local police first. He called Tony. Tony's voice was ice. Do what you have to. I'll make sure the right people know who not to protect. The end of the route. July. Jacques worked with a handful of honest federal agents who had been quietly investigating the same network. The raid on the fishing camp and 2 related safe houses was coordinated and brutal. Several of the key traffickers were taken alive. Others chose not to be. The surviving children were recovered. One of the original missing Quebec girls was among them. She was broken but alive. Tony Rixay never asked for details. When Jacques returned to Montreal in August, they met one last time at the same café. Tony looked older. You did good work, the kind that doesn't get medals. Jacques nodded. Your people stayed out of it, that mattered. Tony finished his espresso. Some of us still remember what the old rules meant. Kids are off limits, always. Jacques left him there and walked out into the Montreal rain. The case was closed. The network was broken, but the Bayou still whispered of other routes, other ghosts. Jacques Guillaume kept the photographs of the 4 children on his desk for a long time. Some cases never fully left you, especially the ones that involved the innocent.